This world has been connected, tied to the darkness, soon to be completely eclipsed.
Hello there, Sarah from 17 once again. This is my Kingdom Hearts Final Mix Proud Difficulty video walkthrough. This is the dive to final rest, and this is probably the biggest gauntlet of enemies that you will ever face in this game, and the most challenging too. So it begins with this big fella, the good old behemoth, depending on how you want to say it. And he's pretty simple. You beat on his horn, he falls down, he recovers, he does the lightning attack, what I just got in the face right there. And then you jump back on his back and you repeat ad nauseum until he dies. This is really as simple as it's been on the other fights. The only difference here is perhaps he has a little bit extra life. We can double check that in the book. But at this point you should be quite good at fighting this enemy because they've thrown quite a lot of them in rapid succession, which I never really understood personally. So this is the final resting place apparently in the book. What does it say? So it just mentions that you will be joined by the behemoth. Where's his bloody life? Behemoth. There he is. 1050 lives, so he's weaker, in fact, than the ones we fought before. But this is where the fight begins here, guys, and this is where you're going to really feel your underleveledness if you are underleveled at this place. Because you're going to take on Dark Balls, as you see here. You're going to take on Invisibles, and you're going to take on the Angel Stars, and together these enemies, if you're unlucky, can just be absolutely just so destructive. So much pain. But you'll notice I'm summoning here. I'm summoning Tinkerbell. And my strategy for this could not be simpler because it's dangerous and it's quite challenging on the old fingers. It is literally kill them before they kill you. Heal every opportunity you get when you think you're about to die, and just be the biggest force of destruction you physically can be, which to me involves mashing X a lot, getting in their face, stopping them when they're too fast, and just praying that my team stay alive to be a distraction. Because what happens is, as soon as your team dies, you're going to notice a shift in the battlefield, and the shift is against you. It turns into a bully syndrome where every single enemy that's left in that room, if they hit you, and they will, in succession, they effectively bully you to low life. And they'll knock you around and push you around, and it can get really, really rough. But this was my second attempt at it. My first attempt lasted a long time and was really arduous. My second attempt was a lot smoother. And it's all going to be indicative of how quickly you can kill the Invisibles, or what you choose to use in this area. And I mentioned in an earlier guide that I saw a speedrunner a very long time ago do a strategy involving Simba on this sequence, and I'll always remember it because it was amazing. As soon as these enemies begun to spawn, instead of summoning Tinkerbell like I did, he summoned Simba. He's using all the items, I assume, all the abilities that boost the summon, you know, so that he's got loads of MP and lots of duration on the attack. And he charges up Simba's roar and lets it go, and it kills everybody in the room. And then he immediately starts charging again. The enemies spawn in, and he kills them all, and he does this room in about 4 minutes. And it's really amazing, but when I tried it myself, I thought, I'm going to try these summons, see if I can do that trick I saw once, and it didn't work for me. I had all the stuff on my character to make him a summon monster, different Keyblade, abilities, items, everything, and nothing. I charged the roar, I released it, and nothing died. So, I don't know. My strategy is not clean. It is not graceful, and there's not a lot of skill here, guys. It's literally just reflexly healing and mashing X until things die. Understanding that the Angel Stars will block you, but if you can keep them in a chain of stuns, they'll die. And just getting a little bit lucky, because, I mean, look at this, just really close to death. So far in the guide, I don't think there's been a fight anything like this, but this is rough. You know, second chance is the only thing keeping me alive at this point. Second chance and a ton of Mega Ethers. And it's all because I'm a little underleveled and these enemies are tricky. But There is essentially a 10-minute fight here, and if you die, that's the most frustrating point. When you die, you don't go between the fractures of the doorway, you go all the way to the beginning where you fought the giant beast, the behemoth. So it's a test, it really is. It's I would say the most difficult part of the game. And don't get me wrong, there are other bosses that have killed me a few times, but they didn't kill me because they were difficult, and I felt that it was a challenge. They killed me because they had a move that did so much damage I was dead before I could really do anything, or Sora couldn't recover because he's got so many recovery frames, so I just got beat up. You'll notice this is an example of me getting bullied, just getting pushed around, so instead I use Aero, I keep wanting to call it Aura, and hopefully dull some of the damage. But look at him, just pounding me. I can't get any attacks off, just attacks, getting pushed around. If I told you that this was not a nervous fight, I would be lying. Not a fan at all. But the cool thing once again is if you're just playing on Proud, you can do all the Colosseums, you can get the better Keyblades, you can level up a bit, and you'll come here and you'll bully the enemies. But if you're going for the Speedster, you're probably going to have to move out of your comfort zone for this particular fight. But my items are getting a little bit low, as you've seen. Tinkerbell is still with me, believe it or not. She just heals you so slowly in response to how quickly I'm being killed that you can't really see much that she's doing. And that is a little bit of a disservice too, or a disservice, sorry, because disservice is not a word, and I always use it. A disservice to her, because she is a useful summon, but this is literally divide and conquer, keep the camera, you know, focused on what you're killing. It doesn't seem to make much difference on the aggression of the other enemies, which is a bit of a shame, but, you know, it's a bit of a placebo for success. But let's have a look at the book, see what it says on the final resting place. So, see, this is why I don't like these books. It says here, following your victory, you must now engage in a battle with a number of different enemies, invisibles, angel stars, and dark balls attacking in various formations. Then goes on to say, defeat them all and you will cause the protective layer to disintegrate. The exit is now accessible. How the fuck does that help me through this sequence? At all. Kill all the enemies and don't die. Congratulations, you have just beaten everything ever made. Like, how can you put that in the book? I don't understand it. Why is this book not on the hardest difficulty? Why is it not saying, feasibly this can be a tough level if you're under-leveled, if you don't have the gear, if you're struggling, perhaps equip items to your friends, perhaps, you know, go and do some side quests or level up a little bit. None of that, just kill all the enemies and you will win. And principally I'm against that a lot, because it's not helpful. It's a book you buy to help you that's not helpful. And it brings me to quite an interesting discussion of exactly what I do on YouTube and what a lot of people do, where YouTube has become a medium now with more how to do things / self-help kind of content than probably anywhere else or any other industry. I mean, look at books, self-help books, guide books, walkthrough books, strategy books. The printing press and you know, those kind of media outlets, unfortunately, are in trouble because of the internet. The internet is easy, it's at the click of a button, it's free, you don't have to buy it. So it's making things like magazines and books probably suffer. And it is a shame, because I don't think you can beat that physicality of those products, but at the same time, you can't argue the immediacy of the digital stuff. So it makes me wonder in maybe 10 years if people will be buying things like this. And I don't just mean my content, I just mean the notion of, I have a book at the side of me that was purchased, for me personally, for the artwork and for the tips, and sometimes they have secret things that you could never find or you would never know, like references to stuff. A good example is the Metal Gear Solid 2 guide. There is so much in that tells you how to do stupid stuff you would never think of doing and get little bits of Easter eggs and tidbits and stuff, which is fantastic. If you're buying these books to help you get through a game, they're probably not going to help so much. They're great for collectibles, unless they're wrong, and some of them are. But people are buying them for help, and the help that they provide is nominal, you know. Immensely subjective and minimal, I'd probably say. Not nominal, it's minimal, sorry. So, how is it any different, somebody buying something along these lines, than it is somebody buying something along that lines. And then the first thought would be, this is physical matter, it's got artwork in it, you know, it's been printed professionally, it's in a very nice, well, not necessarily a hardback, but it's got a nice binder on it, it's presented in extremely nice quality. So you're buying a product, you're buying something that is, you know, that stands for itself on all fronts. Well, you could probably do the same with this. This could be presented on a very nice CD or DVD contraption in a nice bit of artwork on the cover, nice bit of packaging. I suppose it comes down to how you assess it materialistically, which... Really look at this. This is so brutal, man. There is... So strange that there exists a sequence that is this long, with this much risk of death, and such a bad checkpoint. But I suppose it brings us back to the argument of the internet versus television. Because a lot of people believe that the internet's going to replace television, and we're going to be streaming our television shows and streaming what we enjoy and things. And whenever I mention this to my parents or to people who come from a generation where the internet is more of a scapegoat for evil than it is this beacon of information and this mirror on the person that uses it, or society in general, they always say the same thing. You know, it'll never replace television because I'm sat here on the settee watching this box, getting what I need and everything. Which is a perspective that, when you look at it from someone who knows a little bit about, you know, how you can stream things, you can do the exact same thing with streamed content. It's just the know-how of how to set it up. So a lot of people's arguments comes from the position of ignorance, and not a negative one, just they literally don't understand the technology, and sometimes that unknown can be intimidating, and it can also be, you know, quite embarrassing to admit that you don't know it. So a lot of people will just believe some of the studies, or they'll believe some of the negative propaganda against stuff. But I don't think it's so much that nature where, you know, you sit down with your family and you watch it, that's why people do it. It's like, no, because you can do that with the internet, you can do that with streamed media. I think what people like about it is the subservience of it. And I know that sounds probably insane, but I think they do. Like, how often do you hear people talking about adverts, about how much they hate adverts? Like, my mum the other day was saying, you know, she hates them. She absolutely hates them. And she's skipping through them because she's recorded stuff on, you know, Sky Plus or whatever, so she can get to her program. I think we can all agree everybody dislikes adverts because they're an inconvenience. The fact that we accept this constant bombardment of salesmen selling us bullshit all the time in between the featured broadcast is something that I find really ironic. That, you know, you walk down a street in Turkey and you've got all the bizarre people coming up to you and trying to hustle you and haggle and buy you jewellery and get you to buy things, and we all think, well, that's awful. I hate that, you know, but it's their custom, it's their culture, it's how they work. Well, it makes me wonder, do those people, when they come here, you know, who perhaps don't have a television or don't watch TV or have a different broadcast than we do they put our TV on and it's the equivalent of those motherfuckers in the market just completely attacking them? Because in between every single program, it's always the damn same. You know, this Jif will clean your sink. You know, buy these anti-wrinkle cream that's been proven by 6 women to work 7% of the time. Because that makes sense in your little fine print. Like, it makes me laugh that we have these, you know, oh, we're not going to go there because it's full of this, yet we have this TV that does nothing but the exact same thing in a different medium. Yet we're so used to it because we're so conditioned and battered by this endless stream of marketing that we just think it's the norm, when essentially, why the hell do we sit through a constant bombardment of materialistic things we don't need? Very, very strange.